Hey guys and gals, Kevin, your budget travel guy here, and today we're going to talk about keeping you safe on the road with tires and tire safety. You see, we're here at a little park. Beautiful sunny day today. We've had a little bit of rain in the last week previously. Looks like whoever runs this park is a little behind on keeping the grass down, but it's still a nice place. Anyway, tires are going to be one of the most important things when you get out and you're camping and you're traveling across the country. When you're driving around locally, wherever you live, your own town, there's probably plenty of tire shops, plenty of places to help you out, plenty of places that you can have a puncture sealed. When you're out and about and on the road, especially when you get out in the West, man, you are going to be on your own in some places. Even if you aren't going far from the interstate, you take going across Interstate 40 in New Mexico, you may be 60 miles, 70 miles easily from any type of garage or shop that can help you out. And this is going down the interstate. I mean, there are just long patches of nothing. So you want to minimize problems that you're going to have on the road. Make things easy on yourself. If you look at the tires on whatever vehicle you have, you're going to see all kinds of information as you go around that tire. And you're going to see a lot of things for tread wear and tire speed that are, it'll usually say tread wear B, speed C, different things. Those generally apply to, the only time you're really going to have to worry about those is applied to sports cars. But the thing you really want to look for on a set of tires, or if you buy a vehicle that already has good looking tires on it, is you want to know how old they are. And generally, you're going to be looking for something like this. It'll be a little oval or rectangular box with 4 numbers in it. So this one, if you can see, turned sideways, it says 2918. The first 2 numbers are the week of the year this was made. The last 2 numbers are the year it was made. So this tire was produced the 29th week of 2018. Now, if you look at the tires on a vehicle that you've bought and they are more than about 7 years old, 5 to 7 years old, depending on how far out in the boonies that you're going and how much traveling you're doing, you probably are going to want to replace those tires. So when you go look at a vehicle, it's more than just what the tread looks like and what the tread depth is as far as are they good tires. Or looking at the sides going, well, those sidewalls really don't look like they're dry rotted or cracked. You really can't tell what a tire is doing by the way that it looks. And the reason the front tires on this van are so new, they did get replaced last summer. I had gone all the way from the East Coast to California and back and had no problems at all. Got back in my town for a few days, had no problems. Took off to Michigan and Canada, got into Kentucky, and started having just all kinds of vibration issues. Finally pulled it over, checked it out, had a guy help me check it out because I couldn't find the issue, and I had busted a belt. I don't know how. The tires are 3 or 4 years old. I hadn't hit anything that I could remember. The only time I was on anything really rough was on the long trip when I was out in Utah and Arizona and in some really rough places and hitting some rocks. You wouldn't think that I could have made it all the way back across the country if I had damaged a belt, but for whatever reason, it happened. So again, the important thing for you, check these tire codes. Now, if you're in any type of larger conversion van, or like this that was a converted Class B, or you're getting into RVs, you're going to have an additional issue to deal with knowing about tires, and that is load ratings, because these things are heavy. You cannot just slap standard passenger vehicle tires on them. What you're looking for on it is load range, and vehicles like this one in particular require one that says load range E. So they'll carry a lot more weight. They have a lot more plies. Instead of being a 3 or 4 ply tire, they would generally be a 10 ply tire or equivalent. A little bit more money, but again, they're carrying around a lot more weight. And we want to get over here to this date code, again in this oval or rectangular box. This one says 1114. So the first 2 numbers are the week, last 2 numbers are the year. So this tire was produced the 11th week of 2014. So it's 2019 when I'm shooting this. Even though the tread on these tires is just fine, we're dealing with a tire that is 5 years old now. And this is one of the things you're going to run into a lot when you get into looking at RVs or looking at conversion vans, things that are used mainly for camping, is a lot of times people just don't drive these a lot. They may only be used 1 or 2 weeks a year for a vacation. They may be used 1 trip a year. The people that had the vehicle may have gotten sick and it may not have left their driveway in the last 2 or 3 years. So you can have some really good looking tires that are getting really, really old, even though they don't look old and you don't have a lot of cracking and different things. They're still reaching the end of that 5 to 7 year lifespan. This van had tires, again, 5 or 6 years old. I've already replaced 1 pair. I'm going to replace the other pair probably in the next year. The interesting thing for this was it had a full-size spare on it, and I had checked the air level in that spare because these things run around with 60 or 80 pounds of air in them. They hold quite a bit of air because of the weight they're carrying. When I finally looked at the date code from the spare, which looked perfect because it's under a cover, it was from 2002. The thing was 16 years old at the time, so obviously it had to be replaced. So I pulled one of the newer tires off, put it back there, bought a new tire for the back. That's kind of how that got done, because it would do me no good to be out again in the 100-degree desert out west, have a flat tire that I couldn't patch myself, and pull this 16-year-old spare off, which does just fine hanging on the back rack of the vehicle. But when I put it on and put all this weight on it, I guarantee I would have had a problem. It would have either gone flat or I'd have had to blow out another 20 miles down the road. So these are the basics of tire care. Some people will overdose you with information. You don't have to be a tire expert, but you do need to know the basics. And hopefully I've helped you be able to do that. So if we've managed to save you some potential headaches when you're out and about, then I feel like I've done my job. Make travel as stressless as you can make it by handling the things you need to handle up front. Now, with that said, a few things on this channel. You're going to see probably a dozen different travel videos going up in the next week or so. These are things that have laid around, I have worked on forever. I just never got around to getting them up, and I know some of you aren't really interested in those. If you're not, then skip them when they come up. But you know, if you're a subscriber, don't leave the channel, because mixed in with them every few days is going to be something to do with van life or some money saving, traveling, and tips, and probably what you subscribe to this channel for. But if you do choose to watch the travel videos, I think you'll see some interesting things. And in the travel videos, there's basically nothing that we do anywhere we go that costs more than $5 or $6 a person, if that. So stick around, we've got a lot of stuff coming, and we'll see you next time.